right, today we're going to be talking about 4 ways to scale your real estate brokerage business. For that, I've got George Pino. He's the CEO of Commercial Brokers International here in the Los Angeles area. You've probably seen him on this show. You've been on a lot lately, actually.
I have. Well, it's a long walk. In fact, I'm a little winded, but
Yeah,
no, it's only about 20 feet, guys.
Yeah,
so.
it's not too far. Like I said, he is my business partner. We own Commercial Brokers International in Los Angeles, and I really tend to draw from that. So I think a lot of what we experience on a daily basis can really help you guys grow your brokerage business. And, we see new agents, older agents that are always looking to transition. A lot of them right now are getting back to fundamentals from being the last few years where business is fairly easy. So let's talk about those fundamentals. And
Absolutely. Number one, I think, time, value, money.
Yeah.
The biggest, and this is actually one of the first things I train agents when they first come in. Their biggest value and their biggest asset that they have is their time.
Right.
It's not their knowledge or anything else. It's their time. It's the most limited asset that they have. So they want to make sure that they pick and select the deals that they have and who they're going to work with to make sure that it fits the time and that they're going to put in and they get the value out of it. Otherwise, refer the smaller deals to a newer agent or bring on an assistant if you have that many of them.
Well, now, if you are a newer agent, you really want to place a value on your time. Let's say your first year, you want to make $150,000. Well, work that back out to an hourly rate. Reverse engineer it, right?
Absolutely.
And for every minute that you're sitting there not doing something, what is that actually costing you? How can you really turn this into revenue?
Yeah. Or even looking at it as, every minute or half hour, 15 minutes I spend with a client that's not qualified.
Yeah.
It's a waste of my time, and I may potentially be losing all of that time. So that's actually, I'm paying essentially someone to spin my wheels.
Yeah.
So you really want to vet them out. So
I think that's key is, before you step foot out of the office, make sure that you've vetted this client out. You've got an exclusive representation agreement. I'm a big believer in that.
Absolutely.
Some brokers aren't. I just put a post out recently. I was surprised some of them don't, but most of them do. 90-some% of them did. And make sure this client has the financials in place to go ahead and close the deal. Make sure you're going to get paid.
Number one, financials, absolutely. I think financials is one of the key aspects that a lot of agents, a lot of newer agents are just afraid because, we're always taught.
They want to make money.
And we're also taught not to talk about other people's money.
Right.
So, but the bottom line is, even smaller lease deals can be worth hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. So you want to make sure that the client can actually qualify for that. It's just not a startup that you're going to expect the landlord to take on all the risk, because most landlords won't.
Yeah.
So,
and I like what you said before about be selective on your deals. Mm-hmm. If you're an experienced agent, you get a small deal that comes in, you might be better off referring that out to a newer agent and then going ahead and doing a larger deal on it or finding a larger deal to do. So now, and if you're a newer agent, make sure you just don't take every deal that comes in. That's something that we see a lot. We get a new agent that will say, hey, I need 800 square feet in an area that, you're getting $1.50, $2 a foot. By the time you take time, energy, gas, all of that into it, you've actually lost money by working with this client. So you're better off not taking those on. Another thing that I like to see is if you get to a certain level, bring in a junior.
Mm-hmm.
Or hire an assistant or hire a marketing assistant. Take what the day-to-day that is really dragging you down, or maybe something you're not very good at. Mm-hmm. Let's say you're not good at marketing. Hire somebody to come in 2 days a week, 3 days a week to set all your marketing up for you. Take that off your plate.
Well, you want to build your team to complement you. Mm-hmm. So, and the best way to do that is to understand what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And if you want someone to complement you, even if it's someone that you're hiring, whether it's an assistant or a marketing person or whatever it may be, they should complement your weaknesses so that this way you're getting the biggest bang for the buck. And, you're looking at it being, again, selective in not just your deals, but also who you're hiring and why you're hiring them.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, let's talk about your marketing. We kind of started here, but make sure that it's all on point. You're bringing value. Make sure your branding is the same on all of your content. One thing that almost everybody forgets is re-upping their SEO every few months. They'll talk to a lot of brokerages when they built their website. They did their I can't talk right now. Did their SEO, and they haven't done it since. So you want to update that every 3 to 4 months. So make sure you're doing that. A good email program every 15 to 19 days. You're cold calling all day, every day. You're capturing emails. You're putting it into your CRM. Email those people every 15 to 19 days. Obviously, cold calls, 50, 60 plus calls a day. Some people are doing a lot more than that. Some not as many, but good rule of thumb, 50 to 60, depending on your market, of course. And make sure your content brings a lot of value. Am I missing anything, George?
No, I think you hit everything on there. I think what's really important, although, the first thing you mentioned was obviously the SEO.
Yeah.
Keywords, just like any language, it changes as time goes. So you want to make sure that you're up to date on all of that. And really, it's just understanding what's happening in the current market conditions in place and then adapting what your business model does for that. I think ultimately boils down to those 4 things.
Yeah. And I also think, there's something we're going to have to start taking into consideration. I was just talking about marketing department this morning about it, was how Chat GPT is going to be changing SEO.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of learning to do. Make sure you never stop learning on this stuff. Keywords change, hashtags change. Make sure you're updating that. So, and again, if you don't really understand that stuff or don't want to take the time to do it, bring somebody in that can really take it off your plate. So, well, George, thank you very much for coming in today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And folks, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Put George's contact information down below and make sure you give us a like. And if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe and check out all those other videos we just did with George.